Okay, let's go over the basic city screen. Your cities are going to be the engine of your empire. They're buildings, what create your units and support those units. And understanding how they work is fundamental to the game. By left clicking on your city, you hover over it, you get that changing icon. You left click on it, it will open up the city menu. Now right here, you will see the city map. And this shows every workable tile. Any units that happen to be standing in the area will not be displayed. And as you can see, it is a 5x5 group. I think we could probably turn the grid on here. It's 5x5 minus the corners, and that's what it can work. Then down here, we have the info panel. We have food, production, and trade. And the number on the left is your gross amount. And then in the parentheses is your net amount. And you can click and hold on your net amount, and it'll explain, it'll give you a breakdown. Food is how you support more citizens in a given city that can work the land more, and that's how you grow your cities, is through food. Production is how quick you can build things and how many units you can support, a city can support. Trade brings in your gold, happiness, and science all come from trade. Now, down here, we have gold, luxury, and science, which I just spoke of, which these, if you add these up, this is trade. Your trade is broken down into this, and we'll go over later how that breakdown works. Or granary is is a way of saying how long before the city grows and gains a new citizen. Citizens aren't units. It's just another way of saying how many tiles can your city work in its workable area. It can work one tile for every citizen, and the number of citizens that you have is represented by this number here on the city, that one, or by these little people icons up at the top left. They're both the same. We will go into more detail on how your cities grow. And you can see here change in one turn. We'll explain how that works out. Then you have corruption, which we'll go into later, but corruption takes away from your trade. That's why we have a gross trade of 3, but only a net of 2. Corruption is different with different government types, and there's some additional details about the workings of corruption. Waste and pollution. Waste, I don't believe, is something that our rule set uses at all, so that can be completely ignored. Pollution, that's not something you'll have to worry about until the Industrial Revolution. And then after that, it's pollution that starts leading to the global disaster, aptly called global warming. Plague risk, our rule set also does not make use of plague risk, so that can be ignored. Now over here, this is what you're currently working on, is the production. And it'll say the title of what you're working on and how many points have been completed on the project out of the required total points. So a settler takes 4 points to build. And if you want to know, well, how many points per turn can I build, just look over at your net production. We have +1 here. So it will put 1 point per turn on the settler, and it will take 4 turns to build. So that's how you build stuff. If you want to change what you're working on, you simply click the little arrow to the right, bar, and you can go ahead and change what you're building. For the first, at least the first 3 turns, the basic strategy is to build nothing but settlers, and oftentimes you'll want to keep building settlers for even longer than that, sometimes up to the first 7. And depending on how things are going and your situation, maybe even longer. Now, just below the production bar, we have the improvements panel. This says what buildings are in the city. This is our capital, so there's a palace. The palace does absolutely nothing except mark this city as your capital. And you'll notice the zero that's all the way to the right of the panel. And what that is, the numbers all the way to the right will say how much gold that building is costing your empire every single turn. So that's what's going to affect your net revenues of your empire, how much gold you're bringing in. This is the only thing that's going to be on your expense sheet as turn up as upkeep that's required every single turn. Palace happens to be free. Some other buildings are free as well, but a lot of them can be very expensive. Now I think that kind of wraps it up for the basic introduction here.